Hi there, I'm Aki from Aki Gaming and welcome to another episode of My Waifu or Husbando is Better Than Yours. Each episode, we will be putting two heroes into the spotlight and see who reigns supreme over the other. First, they will be judged by all of their attributes, which includes their stats, weapons, skills, etc. Then, we will put them into a battle simulator and see who's the better one when head on. Not only that, we will be also giving them their best possible skill build and put them into the ultimate mass battle showdown to see who will be crowned the winner of My Waifu or Husbando is Better Than Yours. Let's not wait any longer and introduce our contestants. Standing on the left corner, the first prince of Kingdom of Nephil, the elder brother of Fiom and Yerger, the icy blade, Hrid. And standing on the left corner, a mage knight in the Hrid army, the personal guardian of Ishtar, the thunder sword, Reinhardt. So here we go, sword versus sword, ice versus thunder. Who will be crowned the better husbando? Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to rumble? Round 1, stats and skills. Let's start by comparing their stats. Hrid has the higher HP, attack and defense, whereas Swordhardt has the better speed and resistance. Hrid is leading with 3-2. Next, let's compare their weapon. Hrid uses the legendary Gujo that has a mind of 16. It gives him 3 additional attack, and if a penalty inflicted by a skill like panic or threaten and/or a negative status effect preventing counter attacks or restricting movement is active on foe, he makes a guaranteed follow-up attack and foe cannot. What about Swordhardt? He uses the Meister Sword. It has a mind of 11 and inflicts a -5 speed to the wielder, but in return, he gets to attack twice in both phases disregarding his speed. So who has the better weapon? Both have similar effect when it comes to hitting twice, and depending on the situation, one might be better than the other. But according to the rating system from Game 8, Gujo has a score of 9 out of 10, and Meister Sword is 9.5. Swordhardt equalize 3-3. Next, they are special. Hrid has Moonbow that treats foes' defense resistance as if reduced by 30% during combat with a cooldown of 2. As for Swordhardt, he has Piervis that reduces damage from adjacent foes' attack by 50% with 3 cooldown. Obviously, Moonbow is the better special among the two. So, the Prince of Nephil takes this fight. Now, their passive. Let's start with slot A. Hrid has distant counter that enables him to counter attack disregarding foe's distance. What about Swordhardt? He has Death Blow that grants him a +6 attack during combat if he initiates. And by referring to Game 8, distant counter is rated higher than Death Blow. So Hrid scores again. Next, their passive in B. Hrid has Freezing Seal. At start of turn, if his HP is more than 50%, inflicts attack speed -6 on foe on the enemy team with the lowest resistance through his next action. As for Swordhardt, he has Vantage that allows him to counter attack before foe could initiate if his HP is 75% or less. Guess which B skill is better? To my surprise, both have the same rating of 9.5. Hence, it's a draw. Lastly, let's look at their passive in C. Hrid has Attack Smoke that inflicts a -7 attack on foes within 2 spaces of target through their next action after combat. And Swordhardt has Spur Attack Defense that grants adjacent allies a +3 attack and defense during combat. So who will take the last point? And once again, by referring to this link, Attack Smoke is rated higher than Spur Attack Defense. Hence, the Icy Blade gets the final point. And that's the end to round 1. With a score of 6 against 3, the winner of the first round goes to Hrid. Whoa. A difference of 3 points, huh? I kinda expecting a closer fight, to be honest. Anyway, let's move on to round 2, head-on fight. For this and the next segment, I'm going to use the battle simulator from Arctic Silver Fox. First, we are just going to let them brawl with their default skill, IV with no buff. Here's a result for one full turn. It seems Hrid gets to KO Swordhardt on both phases due to his weapon and freezing seal. Even though Swordhardt gets to hit twice, but it doesn't do much against the thick defense of Hrid. So 1 point to the Ice Prince. Next, how about give them some skill inheritance? As our usual practice, we will optimize their build for the highest winning rate. For Hrid, Gujo, Bonfire, Distant Counter, Freezing Seal, Odd Attack Wave, and a Heavy Blade Seal. As for Swordhardt, Meister Sword, Moonbow, Attack Defense Solo, Chill Defense, Odd Attack Wave, and a Heavy Blade Seal. And the result? This time Swordhardt gets to KO Hrid during attacking and defending phase. The only way Hrid could survive the Thunder Sword attack is pumping everything into defense, which is not ideal in my opinion. Therefore, Swordhardt wins the skill inheritance fight. And with both sides ended with 1 point each, I hereby declare the result of the second round to be a tie. Before we proceed to the final segment, let's look back at the results so far. Hrid has 1 win, 1 draw compared to Swordhardt, which has only a draw. The Mage Knight of Free Age has to win the last round in order to not lose the title. Who will win the last rounds? Let's find out in round 3, Mass Battle. For this segment, we will be using the same damage calculator as round 2 to calculate how effective are they against all the other heroes. Instead of looking at only their kills, we are also going to consider their draws and losses too. And the result will be in the form of percentage. And here's the formula. First, we will calculate the result with their default build. Here's the result for 1 round of initiation. And Hrid takes the first point with a winning rate of 91.1 to 76.5. Next, let's have a look at the result for 1 full turn with attacking phase first. The Niffer Prince takes another point, 2-0. Now, defending first. Here's the result for 1 round of defense. Hrid continues his streak with a winning rate of 88.9 to 40.4. Moving on to 1 full turn of defense. And Hrid wins it all. The halfway score is 4-0. Now, let's look at the result after inheriting skills. Who will perform better this time? For 1 round of initiation. Finally, Swordhardt leads with a winning rate of 98.3 to 97.1. What about 1 full turn by initiating first? Another very close fight, but Hrid is better this time. What if enemy attack first? How different would the result be? For 1 round of defense? Whoa, the Thunder Sword is trailing behind by almost 30%. Lastly, let's look at the result for 1 turn of defense. The last point goes to Hrid again. And this marks the end to round 3. With a score of 7-1, the last round goes to the Icy Blade. And ladies and gentlemen, having 2 wins and a draw, the winner of this episode of My Waifu or Husbando is better than yours goes to Hrid. What an outcome! Swordhardt doesn't stand a chance against the Prince of Nefertari. Even though Swordhardt gets to attack twice, but Hrid's weapon's ability that prevents foe from follow-up sealed the victory for the Icy Blade wielder. However, that does not mean Swordhardt is a bad unit. He's still a very strong player-face hero if given the right skills and supports. He can even beat Hrid on one-on-one as proven in the second round. In terms of availability, Hrid is only available in the legendary banner compared to Swordhardt, which is placed in a regular pool. Looking at how congested the regular pool is, it might be easier to get Hrid than Swordhardt. unless there's a focus banner for him. So, what's your thought on the result? Who do you think should have been the better Husbando? Let's discuss. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe and hit the notification icon to Aki Gaming for more interesting content like this. You could also leave a comment below to suggest who would you like to feature in a future episode. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you soon.